This is 3FM.
Well, after 5 years, I've believed that I've contributed significantly to the debates that have been going on a number of significant issues. I believe the island continues to face a number of significant challenges, and I believe now I've got enough experience to be able to offer a really credible option for people to go forward and to tackle some of these very, very difficult problems that the island is facing. Public sector pensions is a major problem that's been facing the island. We've had to face up to that and start addressing the issues. I think the pension scheme as a product, as a financial product, if you like, is defunct. It doesn't work. We can see the build in the liabilities. We can see the increase in the requirements for the taxpayer to contribute, and going forward, to me, it remains unaffordable. So, I put forward a very strong case for the pension scheme to be closed to new entrants. I think that was a credible step. It's a step that the private sector has had to face up to. There are almost no pension schemes, as far as I'm aware, final salary schemes in existence in the private sector at the moment that are taking new entrants on. And it would have been a solid platform for us to have moved forward, albeit there would have been some short-term costs. But better that and seeing an end to the problem than just fudging over the issue, which is what we have done at the moment, and just continue an ongoing debate, as far as I can see, well into the future. So we need firm action. A firm step forward would have been at least closing that scheme down to new entrants. And I'm going to continue to offer the public options for real change in that area rather than just murky fudges. What I want to see from the government is an integrated economic plan across the departments, across the island. So rather than just dealing with things in isolation, so an economic plan for economic development, a plan for health, a plan for education, a plan for infrastructure, I'm going to be looking for this to be drawn together into one single integrated plan in which each component, each part recognises what part they're playing in the island. Because if we're going to move forward, you can't continue just to treat things in isolation and let departments spend money just because they feel it's right to do so. It's got to tie in, I think, now to one unified plan if we're really going to see some effective spending controls and if we're going to see some effective outcomes for the island. So that's going to be my main focus as we move forward. I think as part of the overall integrated plan, transport links will play a key and absolutely a key role going forward. Now, it's not a good thing to have multiple cancellations, multiple delays, a reputation for unreliability. We've got a lot of importance attached to our transport, to our sea routes, to our air routes. It's absolutely vital to give them confidence that we get reliability into our infrastructure, our transport infrastructure. So, yeah, I will be looking at the airport more closely. I think the open skies policy has been under review. It should remain under review. But more importantly, I was disappointed to see or to find that we weren't really tracking the number of delays, weren't really aware of why the cancellations were happening. And that kind of information we've got to get on top of, understand more, and try to find better solutions for everybody so that we can maintain the integrity of our transport links, and in doing so help to enhance the general economic stability of the island. The constituency of Ayre Michael, a rural constituency, there's a very, very heavy reliance on agriculture. We've got to deal with an industry there that's under significant pressure. So it's very important that we continue to work with the farmers to find solutions to some of the more obvious problems, particularly I would suggest around the meat plant. Clearly, the exit from the European Union, or planned exit from the European Union by Britain, may have implications for farming, particularly with the current subsidy payments that are being made and the structure of those. So we need to look very carefully at that. So I'll be looking very much to work closely with the farming community, of which there's multiple farms in that area. I think the most important thing for government is to really develop this integrated plan. That needs to be done but by a group of like-minded MHKs or by Tim Ward, really, before we go through the process of electing ministers and putting people into position. You've got to buy into a vision, to a way forward. I would like to see, particularly from the new Council of Ministers, everybody in tune with the overall vision before they take up posts, so that we don't have this splintering, that people aren't working in their silos, going off and deciding, to try and undertake perhaps vanity projects. If we can do that, if we can get an integrated plan that makes sense, if we can bring in strong foundations for economic growth, strong foundations for delivering our infrastructure to a good standard, to give people confidence that the island is in good shape, then we'll be in a much better place. So that's going to be absolutely imperative. And then who does what really is going to be a secondary.
More music for the Isle of Man.
3FM.